Right now, Alberta's economy is on fire. Oil rigs pumping, Calgary towers gleaming, and GDP per capita the highest in Canada. Yet a third of Albertans say they want out. That's a disconnect that screams something bigger is going on. And it all traces back to a 2026 vote that's less about independence and more about a high-stakes game of chicken with Ottawa. Look at the map. Alberta sends money bags to Ottawa while Quebec receives them. Alberta is a net contributor to federal equalization, $0 in 2024 to 25, while Quebec got $13.9 billion. That imbalance fuels the grievance. But the referendum is a lever, not a divorce paper. Alberta's GDP per capita is $76,400, towering over the national average of $58,000. It's the fourth most populous province with 4.85 million people. Yet it feels like its wealth is being siphoned away. That economic muscle makes the threat of leaving feel plausible, even if legally it's a fantasy. Here's the rub. Drop that ballot in the box, and even a resounding yes doesn't trigger secession. The 2026 referendum is non-binding, advisory only. It's like voting to change your neighbor's house color. You can express your wish, but you can't make it happen. To actually leave, Alberta would need a constitutional amendment under Section 41 of the Constitution Act, 1982. That requires unanimous consent from all 10 provinces and the federal government. Imagine trying to get every sibling to agree on a family vacation. Except here, one no kills the whole plan. The Supreme Court's 1998 Quebec secession reference made it clear. Even a clear majority on a clear question only obligates negotiations, not secession. And those negotiations can't rewrite the Constitution without unanimous consent. So the referendum is a political statement, not a legal path. Remember Quebec's 1995 referendum? It was nail-bitingly close. 49.42% yes, 50.58% no, with 93% turnout. But even if it had passed, Quebec wouldn't have become independent overnight. The federal government later passed the Clarity Act to set stricter rules. Alberta's bluff faces the same reality.
And the growing support for separatism.
Talk of Western separation.
Alienation in Alberta.
As an idea, it's at least 50 years old.
So I think most people out here don't really want to separate. I think they're almost forced to.
If Quebec can walk, we can walk.
Scotland's 2014 referendum is a perfect example of how independence movements work. On September 18, 2014, 84.6% of Scots turned out to vote. The question was simple. Should Scotland be an independent country? The result was 55.3% no, 44.7% yes. Despite a clear majority against, the UK government and Scottish government both accepted the outcome. But note, even if yes had won, Scotland wouldn't have become independent overnight. Negotiations would have followed, and the UK Parliament would have had to pass legislation. The referendum was advisory, not binding. That's the same with Alberta's 2026 vote. It's a signal, not a switch. Now, imagine a timeline of Canada from east to west. Each province appears as a glowing dip. But when some provinces try to leave, like Quebec in 1980 and 1995, the dot fades out with a red X. No province has ever successfully seceded. The only attempt, Quebec's 1995 referendum, ended in a narrow no. The red X is a reminder. Secession is not a matter of provincial will alone. It requires a constitutional amendment with unanimous consent of all provinces and the federal government. That's not just hard. It's nearly impossible in practice. Here's where Alberta's strategy gets interesting. Imagine two politicians shaking hands, one labeled Alberta, the other Ottawa. Their smiles are wide, but Alberta's other hand is hidden behind their back, holding a referendum sign. This is the classic bluff. Alberta wants to appear ready to leave, but the real goal is to extract concessions. The handshake is the promise of a deal. The hidden sign is the threat. It's a negotiation tactic, not a genuine independence movement. The question is, does Ottawa call the bluff? Picture a poker table. Alberta's chips are oil barrels, representing its massive energy wealth. Ottawa's chips are maple leaves, federal power. Alberta pushes its barrels to the center, a high-stakes bet. Ottawa stares across the table, considering. The tension is palpable. But here's the catch. In poker, a bluff only works if your opponent believes you might actually have a winning hand. Alberta's hand, the referendum, is non-binding and legally toothless. Ottawa knows that. So the question becomes, can Alberta convince Ottawa it's serious, even though it can't actually win? Lucien Bouchard, Quebec's premier during the 1995 referendum, knew the power of a bluff. He campaigned passionately for sovereignty, but after the narrow loss, the federal government didn't just move on. They passed the Clarity Act in 2000, which sets strict rules. Any future secession referendum must have a clear majority on a clear question, and even then, negotiations are required. The Clarity Act was a direct response to Quebec's close call. It's a warning for Alberta. The federal government is watching, and they've already written the rulebook. What does Alberta's support for independence actually look like? Imagine a pie chart. 30% say yes to leaving, 50% say no, and 20% are undecided. Each slice is filled with little people icons, representing real Albertans. But here's the nuance. Support for independence fluctuates. In 2022, polls showed about 25% support. But that number can change with economic conditions or political events. The truth is, most Albertans are skeptical about actually leaving. They're angry about federal policies, but not ready to break up the country. The loudest voices aren't always the majority.
If Quebec can walk, we can walk.
Separation, is that a viable plan B if we can't work this out?
I feel that Alberta has everything to be a country.
Now, lately, what's given the movement a bit of steam is the involvement of Donald Trump and his team.
Finally, picture a door labeled negotiation room. It has a closed sign hanging on the doorknob. A person, representing Alberta, knocks on the door, holding a ballot. The door doesn't open. That's the reality. Even with a referendum win, Alberta can't force negotiations. The Supreme Court said in 1998 that a clear majority would obligate talks, but only if the question is clear and the vote is recognized. The federal government hasn't recognized Alberta's referendum, so the door stays closed. The referendum is a knock, not a key. Now imagine a map of Canada, and one by one, each province lights up red, except Alberta, which stays blue. That's the reality of secession. Under Section 41 of the Constitution Act, any province that wants to leave needs unanimous consent from every other province and the federal government. If even one province says no, the door stays locked. Alberta is isolated, a single blue tile on a red board. This isn't a hypothetical. It's written into the very fabric of Canada. In 1982, when the Constitution was patriated, the amending formula was set in stone. For secession, Section 41 requires unanimous approval from all provinces and the federal government. That means Alberta would need a yes from Ontario, Quebec, even tiny Prince Edward Island. It's like trying to leave a party, but every single guest has to agree to let you walk out the door. Now consider the economic reality. Alberta's oil pipelines are the lifeblood of its economy, but they don't just flow straight to market. They cross other provinces and borders. If Alberta left, those pipelines would suddenly face tariffs or blockades from a foreign nation. It's like owning a car, but needing a visa to drive it on every road. The very infrastructure that makes Alberta rich would become a liability. Fast forward to 2026. The calendar flips, and there it is, the referendum. A ballot box sits next to a parliament building, a vote button waiting to be pressed. But here's the catch. The referendum is non-binding. It's an opinion poll, not a command. The federal government has no legal obligation to act. It's like voting to change the rules of a game, but the other players don't have to follow your vote. So there are two paths diverging. One leads to a negotiation table, with chairs for all provinces and the federal government. A long, uncertain process. The other path ends at a dead end, marked by a failed referendum sign. That's the reality. Even a strong yes vote doesn't guarantee a seat at the table. It just opens a conversation that the other side can ignore It's a gamble with no guaranteed payoff.
I think we should let them come down into the U.S., and Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S.
I would say no, thanks, but no thanks. We will do our own things.
To go to a foreign country and to ask for assistance in breaking up Canada, there's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason.
Look at Quebec. In 1995, support for sovereignty peaked at 49.42%. But then it declined steadily year after year, until by 2024, it hovered around 30%. Now superimpose Alberta's current support, roughly 25% in recent polls. The lines cross, but Alberta's line is flat, not rising. Quebec's history shows that even a near win doesn't lead to independence. It leads to fatigue. Alberta's bluff might be weaker than it looks. So here's the final picture: an Alberta flag, then the Constitution document, then a big red no sign. The referendum is a political tool, a lever to pull for concessions, not a genuine bid for independence. But the lever might snap. The constitutional barriers are insurmountable, the economic risks are real, and the bluff could backfire. Alberta's 2026 vote isn't the end of Canada. It's a high-stakes game of chicken with no exit ramp. But here's the paradox. If the bluff works, Alberta gets concessions, maybe a bigger share of federal transfers, more control over resources. But if Ottawa calls the bluff, Alberta faces a choice: back down and lose credibility, or push forward into a constitutional dead end. Either way, the bluff is a gamble. And in politics, like poker, you can't always control the other player's hand. What do you think? Is this a genuine push for independence, or just a bargaining chip? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read everyone. Your perspective helps shape the conversation, and we want to hear where you stand on Alberta's future in Confederation. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into the stories behind the headlines. No fluff, just the facts that matter. Join our community and never miss an episode.